I would like to invite Dr. Kees Keizer, who is a consultant researcher, writer, and assistant professor in the field of influence and persuasion from the Netherlands. He helps municipalities and other organizations in processes that involve behavior and perception change on topics such as littering. So today he will share with us some of his experiences, and he will help us a little bit filter all the practical knowledge that we have seen from the case studies now into from his experience point of view. Thank you very much, Kees, for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you. Let me share my screen. So here we go. Can everybody hear me? Yeah, good. Okay. First of all, same as the other guests, thank you so much for being here. And it's great to share this topic. And it was also great to see all the project that everybody is doing. Beautiful, just all these initiatives. Now, for Vivian's relaxation, I took some out of my presentation to leave some room for the questions, because I saw some questions coming by and they looked really interesting, much more interesting than my story. So I took some out, but please ask me if something is not clear. Thank you for the introduction, Vivian. Just to mention, I'm partly working as a consultant and then doing a lot of behavioral-driven interventions. That's what I assist government, municipalities, etc. with. And I also work in academia, and I'm linked to environmental psychology, which is all about the interaction between the individual and their environment, and also how you can use the environment to basically steer behavior. Now, that's all what has been shown here already. The course I teach, for example, are social influence and persuasion. That's all also about influencing people. It all sounds very bad, but it provides a lot of insight as well for doing good stuff. Now, and I do a lot of research on increasing rule and norm compliance, and then not with purely putting pressure on people with sanctions and that type of thing, but also with initiatives, as has been shown now. Now, and what I try to do for today is hopefully give you some support for the initiatives in a way, but I will dive into the academia side. That was what I was asked for, to show a series of experiments that we have been doing, and that provide hopefully some insight into littering behavior and also how we're influenced by other people. And it will show the impact of litter on behavior, but hopefully it also provides us with some tools in how to steer behavior towards the good. Now, and in order to do that, because the statement I will put forward today and that I try to show is the positive power of community initiatives. I think that is a great starting point for change. And to back this claim up, I will first dive into the bad and basically show what is inducing littering and other types of rule violations, and then use this when we turn to the good. Hopefully that makes sense, but just stick with me. Now, I want to address littering because that's, of course, and the impact of context on littering in either yes or no littering a piece of paper. And for your background, these are scientific studies. And what we really try to do is have as much control over the situation as possible to really dive into the question, what drives whether we litter, yes or no, a piece of paper. This is a short clip of, this is Groningen, the Netherlands, my home base. Now there is nobody on the streets because of COVID, but normally it's a crowded student place. And we use, can it get any more typical Dutch? We use bicycles. So this is a place where we did a study, and what we did was we connected a lot of flyers on the handlebars of bicycles. And we wanted to show whether people would litter this flyer, yes or no. That was the question. Now, and the first thing that we studied was, and this is such an open door, you already know this. What's the impact of litter laying on the ground already on the likelihood of you littering such a flyer that you found on the handlebar of your bicycle? Would it have an impact? You hear a drum ruffle, but everybody knows, I guess, that has a huge impact. So 61% of the people littered the flyer that was hanging there when there was already a lot of litter laying around. In the litter-free condition, every time we removed all the litter that was laying on the ground, just to see would people litter in a litter-free condition. And this is a significant difference. Now, there is already, of course, a message there. The first one is, if you think about litter, don't think about it in terms of pieces of colored things that are laying on the ground. Think about it as signs of behavior. This is what they actually are. It's not a can on the ground is a signal that somebody else violated a rule and littered there. It's a signal of behavior. That's important to understand and to remember. The other thing is, the lesson here, of course, is remove litter. If you want to reduce littering, remove as much litter as possible, which you are already doing in these great initiatives, because it will spark other littering. It's also when you think about schemes to, for example, to reduce littering and you want people to clean. Now, normally in cities, it is a habit to clean in the morning when there is nobody on the street, so you remove the litter and that's it, and then end the next day. But if you can do it, space it out over different times during the day so that the litter doesn't pile up, because again, that induces littering a lot. There is, but it doesn't stop there. Litter has a spread and impact, and that also holds true for other rule violations. So our claim, our hypothesis was that if you see other violations, they tend to induce other violations. So again, same Ellie here, welcome to Groningen. Again, the flyers on the handlebars of the bicycles. But now we wanted to see whether littering was also sparked when you see that other people violated the rule of not spraying graffiti on a wall. You see that other people violated that. Would it have a similar effect? So we had a clean alley there, nothing there. Then on a Saturday night, we went out and sprayed a whole alley full of graffiti. Of course, we said it was okay. And we cleaned everything up, no worries. But we wanted to check what the impact was of that and whether it had a similar effect. And it does. It even had a greater effect. So littering was induced by the presence of graffiti. And this is something that we did in various studies. So this time it's graffiti, a sign of rule violating behavior, but also other things like shopping carts that we left around that you had to bring back. So other types of rule violation have a similar effect. So if you want to address littering, it's a wise thing just to get rid of all those other signals of rule violating behavior as well. And there is also a message there when you try to convince, and I already saw some notes in the question answer. I'm sorry, you're probably going to ask me later on this, Vivian, but if you want to get the topic of littering in the heads of people of government or municipalities, then you could focus on the fact that littering has a spreading effect on other violations as well. So litter might induce other violations, more serious violations. Now, that's something that we try to study as well, again, in this controlled situation. Letterbox in the Netherlands, what we did was we had an envelope that it hung from the letterbox, and it seemed to contain €5. It's not real money. We don't have that kind of budget in the Netherlands. And we don't want to reward those people that took the envelope. But we wanted to know how many people would take the envelope and just take the money. And would it be influenced by something like litter in that environment? Would that increase the effect? And it does. So the numbers are smaller. The difference is smaller, but it's still a significant effect. You see that with litter present, more people take the envelope. So litter leads to other more serious violations. There is a spreading effect, and that also is a reason to clean up. Now, there were many replications of this study. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It was replicated in Scandinavia, and I think the research there was near the letterbox for 5 months, and nobody took the envelope. So this is, I don't know what it tells you about the Netherlands, but maybe don't visit. It's dangerous. In a conclusion, so it's rule violations spread. Signs of rule violations make their behavior spread towards other domains. Now, we looked at, we did various replications of that and variations. One important, if I go back, is, for example, does it matter who the violators are? And it does. If the violators are, for example, a group you don't want to belong to, we had Gothics violating a rule, heavy dressed and black makeup and things. I kind of love them, but apparently other people don't. If they were the violators, you don't see this spread. You actually see that it has a increasing effect on the people. More people adhere to the norm or rule, which is kind of nice. Gothics everywhere. Okay, we tested a solution here. Would it help if you place a prohibition sign there? This is what is commonly done, right? Every practitioner, the one thing they grab to when there is a problem somewhere, just put a sign there. That's enough. Would that work? So we did the same experiment, but now we put up a sign stating no littering in a litter-free environment, in a littered environment, and looked at the effects. Litter-free, you see a drop, 39% litters the flyer. It's not a lot, 47 to 39, but it helped some. But now in the littered environment, this is normally the state in which you put a prohibition sign. Does it work? Not so much. It actually had an increasing effect. To an extent, what the sign is doing, it's making salient that other people apparently littered here and violated this rule. It's almost like a commercial for violation behavior. So governments clean up. As soon as you put a sign there, you need to clean up, otherwise it doesn't work. And it, for us, it shows the power of other people. And that's something to remember. Because it also works the other way around. And this is what you have been doing. Now, this is again, a bicycle. And I haven't had tulips in there. It's really Dutch, this. So what we did was we had a bicycle laying here. And we wanted to know how many people would take the effort of putting it up, being friendly towards others. And would it be influenced if you see somebody right before you enter this alley, do something good in the sense that they picked up a piece of litter that they just dropped accidentally. Seeing somebody doing a good thing, complying to this rule, does it have a spreading effect in positive sense? How many people would pick up this bicycle? Now, this is no student bike. It's a bike with the flowers in there, and it's a beautiful bike. And we've child seat there. We even had first a baby in the child seat, but the ethical committee thought it wasn't a good thing, so we took the baby out. But we wanted to know how many people would take the effort of putting the bicycle up. And you see, after seeing somebody picking up their own litter, it raised to 34%, coming from 20%. So seeing such an act, and we're getting closer to your initiatives, has a positive effect that it spreads to other norms, and it makes people more friendly towards other people. This was, again, a variation on that. We had oranges that somebody tried to put in their handbag. This is Ellen, and she tried to get it in there. And the oranges rolled away, and we wanted to see how many people would take the effort of helping her and picking up the oranges. Again, a friendly act. And would it be influenced if you see somebody right before you hit this scene actually picking up a piece of litter that they either dropped themselves, or it was a scene like you see here where you see somebody sweeping the pavement, so cleaning that environment, a concerned citizen doing that. And it does. It raised it a lot. So the one where you see actually somebody with a broom, armed with a broom, cleaning the pavement, that really induced you being friendly towards this person and helping them. And that is basically the magic and the core of all these initiatives is citizens being active. They kind of show the support for these norms and the care, and that can spread to other domains as well. So it isn't limited to that specific behavior, but it spreads to other things. And that is something that you need to show. This is in Dutch, but we also showed these in neighborhoods and did research then, and you see that people feel more safe in a neighborhood, but also they think the neighborhood is better. Only these signs is what we showed. Thought the neighborhood was better. They thought it was cleaner. It was all these positive effects by merely showing other people engaging in this. And that is something you can use. And with that, I almost there. If we look at the conclusions, and I think there are more, but I think we get to them in the questions as well. First of all, so litter is an indication of rule violating behavior, and it can spread in a negative way towards more serious, if you want to call it like that, behaviors as well. So get rid of these signs, but support and adherence to rules can also spread in a very great way. Even one person with a broom, and it was already mentioned, even one person can make a difference. But what I think is important here is when I look at the other initiatives as well, is you see great people doing something, and but where you can gain a lot is by making it very, very visible, not to the people who are there, but to the people who aren't there. You want to show all these initiatives to people that aren't actually at the initiative, because if they see others participate, this is where the spreading happens. And you can gain a lot with that. So we have initiatives, for example, in the Netherlands, where you have this day where you clean your street, and it's always early morning, and then you're there with 30 people, but the other few thousands of the neighborhood aren't there, and you're feeling good about yourself. But please communicate, show this initiative to the few thousand that aren't there. That's where you can earn a lot. And the other thing is specifically people that are similar to you. So people from your community, if you see them engage in such behaviors, that is where it has the biggest effect. So people that are similar to you. And with that, are you happy with me, Vivian? Is this okay? Yes. Good. With that, I want to end. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay.